Pandemonium reigns.
Have we ever seen a schedule like that is of the 2024 Florida Gators? I can tell you this right on the jump, before we get into all the things, because we're going to talk all things 2024 Florida Gators. Their record will not be indicative on exactly who they are. They will not be their schedule. I don't care if the schedule goes in their favor or if the schedule goes against them. Have we ever seen a schedule like this? I'm Dan. He's Mike. This is Pandemonium Reigns. We're going to talk 2024 Florida Gators. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're on the path. We're on the road for almost 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We really want to hit 100 before the start of football season. We actually think that it can happen before that. We've seen some really cool growth on the YouTube platforms, and things continue to grow on the podcast platforms. Again, I've said it once, said it 100 times. We just do significantly better on the podcast platforms than we do YouTube, but you can change that, and we would appreciate it if you did. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's talk 24 Florida Gators. My dude, have you ever seen a schedule like this one? I don't care what team. Pick a team. Tell me, have you seen one?
I don't see how I could say yes to that. And there's minimal recency bias in that. Like, I mean, just close to home. We had no business some of those years that we traveled to Oklahoma, that we hosted or traveled to Oregon. And then you turned around and played LSU when they were hot. You had Alabama, and Georgia was never terrible, even though it was before Kirby Smart's doing what he's doing. I mean, I don't have a reference for a schedule like this. This is insanity. If Napier if he survives or manages to thrive in this, we do need to be scared, because he really will turn that thing around if they do something with this schedule. It's asinine, dude. Like, this would be you and I playing the old NCAA football 2014 would want a schedule like this, because, it gets old beating teams in oblivion, yada, yada, yada. You'd want to be challenged here and there. You're not going to be challenged every time because it's a game. You'd want a challenge or two, and you'd get one out of a schedule like this. This is outrageous. I mean, all right, here's a question off the top. UCF's not a bad program. We know that. Like, they've been on a really nice path for the better part of 10 years. Are they the second easiest game on this schedule?
No.
At Mississippi State, maybe? I mean,
that's my thought. Mississippi State, yeah.
Yeah, you could go with that one. Samford, obviously, that's your guaranteed win.
I mean, if you flip the schedule at Orlando and home against Mississippi State, then I might say that. Maybe.
I would be with you. So maybe. It's at best, your third easiest game is UCF, who has been what they've been for like 8 to 10 years now.
Yeah.
7, 8, 10 years now. Yeah. Like, UCF at home is your third easiest game, folks. That is the magnitude of the schedule. That's insane.
If I'm Billy Napier, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Like, listen, I'm down for a challenge. These coaches say anybody, anywhere, anytime, and then you get this. You're like, whoa, wait a second. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. So, and it's okay. So, as we get into this, not a huge. Okay, well, maybe I might stand corrected there. Not a major shift in their roster is the way I'll put it. All right, so you lose Etienne. That's big. You lose that. Yeah. That's important. You lose Princely U, who had some choice words in a Ole Miss spring practice. Took his shots. So there's that, and then you make what's the word? Reasonable additions. The portal took more than it gave.
Yes,
just in quality. Yeah, you gained Cormani McClain, but what is he? We don't know. At best, we don't know. I mean, he took shots on his way out of the door in Colorado. I mean, if he's 5-star caliber, okay, then great addition. If he's 5-star potential, then all right. I mean, is he even going to start? I think a better addition is Asa Turner, that safety
100%
in Washington. I mean, you're going to get some major experience there. So just kind of in summary regarding the roster, the offensively, it's going to be what you're going to go as Graham Mertz goes.
Yeah.
You're going to go as Montreal Johnson goes. Your offensive line is good. It's not great. I'd say it's above average, but if somebody gets hurt, then you're in trouble. Your receiver room is not bad. I don't even want to say that it's good or great. Maybe again above average. You got some talent in the room. Defensively, your secondary looks nice. Your front seven, it's an average. Well, I almost said an average SEC defense, but I could see how that could be viewed in multiple ways.
I don't know, man. That's what gets me is I recognize these names that left. Scooby Williams at linebacker, Jaden Hill at corner, Miguel Mitchell, I'm going to say, played quite a bit at safety. Jalen Kimber, they thought they were really getting something in Jalen Kimber. When he transferred from Georgia, he never quite was that.
Right.
I get that. So it's not like you're losing a proven something, but you're losing someone you really had hopes in.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Like it's not what Florida front seven was 10, 12 years ago. It's not the worst in the SEC this year. But I'm totally with you. The portal took more than it gave because of the absolute ceiling that Princely you had, the ceiling that Etienne had. If I remember correctly, Caleb Douglas at receiver is someone that they had hopes in. I know that they have the other was freshman last year, I believe, true freshman, whose name escapes me. But I know there's some guys that they like, but I think Caleb Douglas was one of those that they really liked, who's out the door. I mean, there's just that's the way the portal works a lot of times. You recognize some of the names that go out more so than the ones that come in, even though, again, I'm with you, Asa Turner over some of those other guys for sure.
Yeah.
And if those other guys give you something, you've really done something. Hey, Grayson Howard, I know that he was a highly sought after linebacker out of South Carolina. Maybe he is a natural replacement for Scooby Williams. I don't know. But, man, I mean, just obviously you lose 24, you bring in 15, you're at a loss there. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that – well, I know they're not in a position where they can necessarily handpick or scoot guys out the door, and in some cases guys that they had high hopes for and, had really big things that they envisioned for that player.
Yeah. I do think there's some things you're excited about. I think you're excited if you're a Florida fan. I think you're excited about Graham Mertz.
You should be.
We were wrong. We were wrong about it.
Dead wrong.
Okay.
Dead wrong.
We're going to have to tip our hat to Billy Napier and seeing what nobody else saw. Get this. Let me set this up for you. Let me frame it this way. If I'd have told you that Graham Mertz is going to throw for 2,900 yards, he's going to throw for 20 touchdowns and only 3 picks, how would you tell me Florida's 23 season is going to go, as opposed to what you thought or how you thought it was going to go?
Yeah, I would have said that's good for 8, 4, 9, and 3, probably, as a baseline, because I had a lot of faith in the duo of Etienne and Johnson. And that would have meant as well that some youngsters that I doubted a year ago really emerged for them as pass catchers, or they found a way. Just plain and simple, they found a way. I'd have probably said 8 and 4 would be, around your floor. Your ceiling wasn't a ton higher with some of those numbers, but you did some things that we didn't expect you to do because it wasn't exactly a cakewalk of a schedule last year.
Right. Yeah, you're spot on. And tell me if I'm wrong here. If you give me those numbers, 2,900, 20 touchdowns, 3 picks, I'm saying, oh, that's Joe Milton. That's what Joe Milton's going to do.
Yeah. And I'm someone, I think I've said this at least. I know I've said it to you if I haven't said it on here. I'm not always someone who loves an incredibly low interception number. I want you to take some risks because I have seen guys that wouldn't do that. Now, 3 is a dang respectable number, especially the 20 to 3. But, I would maybe want you to take a couple more risks here and there, knowing that it's not going to pan out. Sometimes you're going to lose the ball. Other times it's going to pan out for you in a big way, and you're going to make a splash for a touchdown. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I would have expected that from Milton. I would have said you're good for 8 and 4, 9 and 3 right there, probably doing more than doing way more than you thought you were going to get from Mertz.
Oh, for sure. So you got to be excited about Mertz. I think you're excited about the return of Montreal Johnson. I think you're bothered by the departure of Etienne, especially considering the destination that he chose. But Montreal Johnson was your leading rusher anyway with 817 yards, but Etienne right there was 753. He found the end zone 3 more times than Johnson did, but together, I mean, that's a lot of yards.
Yeah, it is.
Can Johnson be an every down back? I think he can. I think he's got that build. I think he's got the speed. I think he can. I think where you really get hurt is actually out on the edge with Ricky Pearsall. Uh, I get the talent. I'm waiting to see what the Niners saw in Pearsall. You know what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you do get the return of Wilson, who found the end zone
Eugene.
6 times. Yeah, Eugene Wilson found the end zone 6 times, 538 yards off 61 receptions. So
Jeez.
Ricky Pearsall, 65 receptions for almost 1,000 yards. Eugene Wilson, 61 receptions. The next after that, 26 catches. Boardingham, tied in.
Ugh,
21 catches. Jackson, 30 catches. Johnson, Montrell Johnson, by the way.
Yeah.
So it just tanks. I mean, you were snapping the ball, you were looking Pearsall, you were looking Eugene Wilson. So interested to see how that is going to unfold for them. What is the departure of Princely U? How's that going to affect that front seven? He was a big one. And kind of coming back to that question surrounding Mertz for a second, if I give you those stat lines, I'm telling you, I think you said what 7-5, 8-4, something like that. Well, that's not the case.
Yeah.
8-4, or excuse me, they went 5-7. My bad.
Yeah.
My mind is all over the place. They went 5-7, and coming back around to this 24 year, they're excited about this Lagway kid, but he's not going to be on the field. It's going to be Graham Mertz. This is Graham Mertz's job, and I mean, am I wrong in saying that it's more so Mertz than it is Johnson?
No,
I mean, you're going to go as Mertz goes, right?
You're absolutely going to go as Mertz goes. You're not going to have the offensive line to dictate games by your running game. Now, if you can scheme things up to set up your pass via the run, mad credit, because I don't even know that you're going to be able to do that necessarily. There's a lot of offensive linemen in here. There's a couple more defensive lineman pieces beyond Princely U. That to me, again, above average, slightly average offensive line. I just don't think you're going to want to put that workload on Montrell Johnson. You can't lose him. Like he's a top 3 weapon, probably top 2 weapon on your offense. And I'm sitting here saying that you're not going to win games by, Derrick Henrying him the ball. But you're going to go as Mertz goes.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you just told us that one half of their, I'm going to say receptions, their explosive receptions, however you want to phrase that, is gone in Pearsall. Mm-hmm. They did bring in a couple of receivers that were that have had seasons in the 700-800 range. Shamir Dyke from Wisconsin. There's another one, Elijah Badger, I think, which should have been from Wisconsin. He's from Arizona State. You can have high hopes for the guys. I don't have a ton of faith in them just based on what I see throughout 12-game stretches for the Florida Gators lately.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to go as Mertz goes.
Absolutely. I think they're going to attempt to nickel and dime people the way that they did us.
Yeah.
Nickels make dimes, dimes make dollars. My high school head coach used to say that short passes equal long gains. So short passes equal long drives. So
yeah,
I think that's going to be the game plan, which means when Johnson does get his touches, you got to count for something. I think he averaged 5.4 yards per carry last year. Oh my gosh, what? Anything less than 4.5, and you're just done. You're screwed.
I mean, you're screwed.
I mean, I could really say that for an even 5 yards per carry.
Yeah. Some of these numbers, man, they just really make you wonder how they wound up 5-7. We obviously watched it take place, but these numbers match the projections and really the ballpark stat ranges of much better teams.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's, again, difficulty of schedule, what the crap happened in Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. I just don't know what it is, but it doesn't match what it should have been.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw some more stats in your way before we get into this, and this is really just for the sake of showing you that things are going to have to be better.
Yeah.
So they averaged 28.4 points per game last season. That's going to have to be better.
Has to.
Especially when you look at this gauntlet of a schedule. They average 97 rushing yards per game. That's going to have to be better. 143 passing yards per game. That's going to have to be better. There's just a list, and it goes on and on and on of things that are going to have to be better in order for them to make a bowl. That's a fantastic question. What is the goal?
Yeah, that's true.
I get it. I get coach speak, and I know what he would say. Well, he's going to be like, well, the goals win every game. The goals go. I get it. I know why you would say that, but let's be real here, man. What's a realistic goal? Is it 6-6? Vegas has got you at 5.5.
I think there's times. I know that if this was Tennessee, the program that obviously means the most to me, and we were having this conversation, I would just say I couldn't pay attention to the schedule. I would say from the jump, things have to change. Billy, you may not be the exact reason why we're looking. This schedule is obviously the biggest factor, and we've underwent some adversity. Things haven't gone exactly as we anticipated. But if we're hoping, and you're saying we're going to win every game. But if realistically we're looking at 6-6 as one of the better scenarios, things have to change. And if you're the athletic director, at that point you're going to your boosters for buyout money, and it ain't small, because that's one thing Napier's done right is he's played the game for longer before he jumped into the big pond that is Florida. He's done some of those things smartly, he's done correctly, but I would say from the jump, things have to change. This can't be the norm. So let's set a number, you and I, right now. If we don't hit that number, we're going a different direction by the time we lose that number. It's got to be the conversation I think I'm having as AD. And I know that's harsh, and it may get harder and harder to find guys that take the job. But the reality is, you're not going to be looking at a schedule like this every year. Maybe that if you have a bigger heart than me, if you can stomach, a realistic situation like that, a conversation like that. Okay, let's look at next year beyond. Let's build for that. Let's recruit for that. But it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what they're facing.
You could set up this whole other framework where you could say, well, what if he loses 5 or 6 games by 3 points or less, which is really possible here.
Yeah.
With this setup.
Yeah.
So as we get into this, so typically what I do is I write out the schedule, I write the bye weeks, and then I go, here's your losses. These are the losses.
Yep.
Here's your toss-up games. So off the cuff, I said, or excuse me, here's your guaranteed wins. I'm sorry. Here's your guaranteed wins, and I wrote 2. I think you got 2 of them, and one there's a conversation. And then I wrote toss-up games, and I marked 4. You could arguably mark 6. I think I just got tired of doing it.
Yeah.
And I went, well, that's a loss, and that one's a loss, and then I figured out, all right, I got to make a decision on these toss-up games. What is it? So at some point, dude, we got to walk through this thing.
Yeah.
I'll just say this: if Florida experiences any kind of significant injury to Johnson, to Eugene Wilson, I think you're in trouble. If Mertz gets hurt, what is DJ Lagway? There's question there. They're really high on this kid. Now I don't want to see Lagway in Knoxville, because the curse of Florida and the backup quarterback when it comes to playing us. But we got to do this thing. So let's get into it. First game of the week, or first game of the season, hosting Miami. Miami's got all of this offseason talk. They've got the crazy amount of portal additions, most notably Cam Ward and Damian Martinez. This is what this came down to me. Pressure. I just think Florida's playing with more pressure, and it's at home. I think if you could ever say that there's a time where home field advantage maybe doesn't favor you, maybe this is it. Just because, what if you lose this one?
Yeah.
If you start this campaign off with a loss, man. So I think Miami's going to play more loose. I can see Florida playing tight. I can see big explosive plays on Miami's end, and I can see long sustaining drives on Florida end. But can Florida keep doing that? It's going to be hot. I think your differentiating factor is pressure. I'm going to give Florida a loss here.
Yeah, I'm sticking by what I said on the Miami episode. The closer we get to the season, maybe the more I could really see Cam Ward going down there and flourishing. I know that, I'm not expecting this to be an offensive shootout where they're just throwing touchdowns back and forth because of what we've talked about Florida, needing to nickel and dime you, needing to build drives, really maybe more so than ever needing to sustain possession of the ball. But I'm going to stick to my original feeling. That's really not changed for me. It's not one of those situations where I'm like, well, I'm not going to waver here. I still feel that way. I still feel like Miami goes there, they win this game. I think they start better than they finish a lot of times anyway, so it kind of plays into that. I don't know if that's a crystal ball thing or if it's just a continued Miami thing, but Florida 0-1.
I'm with you. Turn around and host Samford, but just imagine if Samford gives them fits. Just imagine.
And Florida's one of those programs, like many, who have struggled with Samfords before. Not Samford necessarily, but They've done it. And we talked about at the time of the Miami episode what an emotional swing game that's going to be coming out the gate.
Yep. I mean, you can almost mark this Samford game as a can't lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a can't lose game.
Yeah.
But we got those as wins, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 1-1.
Okay. All right. So 1-1. Turn around hosting Texas A&M. Tell me what you got.
Well, this one is in my toss-up category. Oh, God, dude. It's in my toss-up category.
Me too.
Let me think about this. Weigman is back. Max Johnson is out for Texas A&M. Am I correct on that?
That is correct. Max Johnson is a North Carolina Tar Heel. Yes.
He's a Tar Heel. Weigman is back. I know Evan Stewart's out. I know that they took some hits to the portal. I have a really good feeling about Elko because, frankly, it's taken really good coaches to win at Duke. They did lose a lot of guys, and they're traveling from Texas to Gainesville. Again, it's a toss-up. I could certainly see Florida losing this game. I think Texas A&M is going to have the trench advantage in this game.
Okay.
I know they lose Walter Nolan, but they've got Shamar Stewart, I think is his name. They've got another one whose name escapes me. Because it was hard for me to find Florida wins, literally.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up. They very well could lose it. I did go Florida win here, 2-1. But they could lose this game going away. I really like Elko. Weigman can sling it around.
Yeah.
They didn't lose all their weapons. They just lost a lot. I think to me, it could probably be said they lost a lot of that fluff, a lot of that, those NIL guys that came through for Jimbo. I think Elko's going to do some things there. It's year one. We'll see. I'm going to go Florida win, knowing very well that Texas A&M can win this game going away.
Do you think it's fair to say that they split Miami and A&M?
I've got another one where I did that, so it's fair to say that. But there was another scenario where I did that in the schedule, so
cool.
I didn't do that for me.
Well, I gave Florida a win as well. It's in the swamp. Even if they get blown out in that Miami game, I don't think it's going to impact your Florida crowd.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, Bailey Napier is fighting for his job. Elko's going to have all the grace year one. Mm-hmm. It's in the swamp. Okay, give me Florida. And then you travel to Mississippi State. And this is the one that I say you can't lose this one. You can't.
You cannot lose this game.
You have to win this one.
If you lose this game, you might not win another game. You would pull an upset.
I mean, it could derail you for sure.
Like you might not win again if you lose this game because that's how hard it gets. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I did go Florida win here because I think Levy's got one of those Heupel, Tennessee, one of those crazy hills to climb. Just because of we talked about it in another episode or two. The guys that they've been through at head coach, losing Leach, still traumatic. The system, I don't know where it's at right now. Levy can do a lot offensively. We definitely know that. I would hire him if I'm in need of a coach. I wouldn't take that as my first head coaching gig. I'm going to go Florida, though. I've got them going 2-1 coming out of this game.
Yeah, I got Florida as well, but I'm telling you, if I'm a Florida fan, at this point, man, I don't want to play a Jeff Levy offense.
Nope.
I don't want to do that.
Sure don't.
Especially coming off a Mike Elko offense, which is different. It's a whole different set of preparation. All
Yeah.
right, so lucky Florida, they get a bye week after this one, and then they're going to host Central Florida, Gus Malzahn, KJ Jefferson,
KJ Jefferson.
UCF. My question that surrounds this game is how much Golden Knight black and gold is going to be in the swamp?
Yeah, especially if we're wrong on 2-1, and it's
What if Florida is 2-2 going into this, or 1-3?
yeah, and that's correct. 3-1, not 2-1. Yeah, if they're 2-2.
UCF has started a website that's talking about like charge up the swamp or black and gold the swamp. I mean, they're doing it. They're trying to figure out how to take it over.
Yes, they are.
So,
man,
here's an important factor before you tell me your answer here. When Florida is on a bye, Central Florida is playing Colorado.
At home?
Playing Colorado at home.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so that I don't know how well Gus will handle the flair of facing Prime. Do they take care of business because they should win that game? To me, they should beat Colorado, knowing what Colorado did last year. How well does he handle that? How well does he manage it? Is KJ healthy? That's been a concern. That's been an issue. I like KJ Jefferson a lot.
Me too.
I hope he has a Heisman caliber season. That's how much I like
absolutely.
KJ Jefferson.
Absolutely.
It won't happen at UCF, but I think that much of it. But I think for me, it's how do they manage the conditions of preparing for Colorado and all the flair, all the cameras, all the celebrities maybe on their sideline. You never know. Whatever. Again, it was tough to find Florida wins. That's a terrible reason to predict them to win a game,
isn't it? I did the same thing.
But
I did the same thing.
I do have those legitimate concerns still about Gus on offense at times. It's like there's just some years where it's anything but smooth. KJ's health been a concern.
Sure.
What weapons do they have when he's not making Cam Newton-esque type runs down the field? What weapons do they have for him to get it to? But one of the factors for sure was finding Florida wins on this schedule. This, to me, should be one of them. We talked about it. Probably a top 3 easiest game is UCF, and that's not ideal. We're about to get into why with this back half. I guess I've got that's great podcasting. I guess I've got Florida starting 4-1.
Yeah, I gave the win to Florida as well. I don't know why. I guess because it's in the swamp. Let me continue a UCF conversation as we get into this next week's game at Tennessee. All right, so they're at Tennessee, and if I'm a Florida Gator defensive player, I'm just pissed off at this point because consider this: you have played so far a Cam Ward led offense, a Mike Elko ran offense, a Jeff Lebby offense, a Gus Malzahn offense that's got KJ Jefferson, and now you're playing a Josh Heupel offense on his turf with Nico friggin' oh my gosh, I almost messed up. Imaliava. Like, God bless. I'm going home. Like, if I'm a Gator defensive player, like, just I'm done. I'm all the and just imagine if we could throw this wrench in there of Samford having something like a Paul Johnson offense, something that's just you have to prepare for it just because you have to protect it. I don't know what they run, don't really care. But gosh, what they faced so far.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and like every game after this point is also falls under that category. Almost every one of them, like 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 fall under that category of what we faced so far, what we're still doing, like especially the defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I got Tennessee winning this game, just because of the brutality of the schedule. I mean, if they're not doing hot, hopefully we smell blood in the water. 2023 did not go as planned. Hopefully we are pissed off. It's in Knoxville. At least Neyland. I know what to expect out of Neyland that day. I know it's going to happen. That's going to be a factor. The storyline is going to be the last time that they were in Neyland and what happened in the swamp. I mean, just the past 2 years. That's going to be the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's going to be surrounding a lot's going to be surrounding Nico and what he's done this so far as QB1 in
Yeah.
Knoxville. You remember on the game NCAA 14 where the meter just like when it's so far one side it shakes? That's what it feels like, and it's not even necessarily like a talent gap difference. It's just shaken because of all the non-field factors at this point.
Yes, that's really well said. And then when you look to the field, a lot of position groups really do continue that lean. Not every one of them. It's not extreme across the board, but a lot of matchups, a lot of vital matchups really favor Tennessee in this game.
Yes.
They really do. You know, and I know how the series has gone. I'm glad that you led off this game. I really am. But whenever we talk Tennessee, whichever we talk first, I'm predicting Tennessee to win this game. You know, I'm not saying that we're going to flip the streak around, that it's all over, said and done. We're going to start a streak at home like they've done in the swamp. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm saying for 2024, Tennessee really, really should beat Florida. That's been the case many years. But to me, they should do it this year by, whatever means it takes.
Yeah. Now let's rewind 2 weeks. Let's go back to the bye week.
Yeah.
If you have that bye week and then an offense more normal, a Tamu offense, an almost anybody.
Yeah.
Except for Gus Malzahn. So now you have to spend your bye week preparing for Gus Malzahn and his tendencies and what he likes to do. And because ideally you would like it for it to be somebody else, and that way you could pay attention to this is what Heupel likes to do. And they're similar, but yet so different. So different. So, all right. So we both have them at, what is that, 4-2? So
yes, 4-2 out of a Tennessee loss.
Hey, listen, if they go 4-2 on the first half of their schedule, man,
props.
The Gator is the new mascot for the freaking country because they've done some work.
Yeah.
All right, now they got Kentucky. Lucky them at home. I gave Gators a win here just because there's this MO, this DNA that is Kentucky where they bring this high-profile quarterback in and he just kind of does what they always do. And Brock Vandegrift could have been the one that hung the moon.
Yeah.
The history says he's going to be average.
He could have carried on what's going on at Georgia. Now, let me touch on that with I think Beck is really, really good, really special, really capable, huge arm, pretty accurate, all those things. Vandegrift could have continued their winning ways. He could have got them into 12-team playoffs year after year, probably would have got them into 14 playoffs. But he's at Kentucky. Yeah. He's surrounded by a ton, by a gap in the level of dudes is so huge at this point from Athens to Lexington. It's huge. It is what it is. Stoops, was he going to leave? Was he going to stay? He was obviously going to leave unless it got shot down. I do think there will be ramifications and consequences for Kentucky over the season. It's not so much of a thing here of I need to find Florida wins, but I do think they win this game. They should also be embarrassed, pissed off, all those things. The Kentucky series has really been tenuous for them the last couple. They got embarrassed last year at Kentucky. They should be really looking to pay that back. It could certainly go Kentucky's way. I feel like I have to throw that in every game that I've given Florida a win, but I do see them winning this game at home.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so I'm going to put you down for that win as well. So far, we're spot on with one another.
Yeah.
But I have a question before I want to move on to the back half. Are you okay? I'm going to ask two questions. Are you okay? Say Kentucky's schedule has not gone as planned and they are, under a lot of pressure. Are you okay with Billy Napier and Florida ending the Stoops tenure this night?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not afraid of what Kentucky would hire. Florida, you're always a little bit afraid of what they'll hire because of how good they can be and should be. That applies to a lot of schools with a lot of talent in their state, a lot of yada, yada, yada. Kentucky's been playing so far above their skis for several years now, really since they started approaching and did win 10 games. Stoops, man, he should have capitalized on another job, I think, well before this time. He tried to with Texas A&M, let's acknowledge, but he should have done that. Things happen when you. I'm not going to say you've stayed longer than you're welcome, but you just need to go with the flow of offers and jobs that come your way. You need to entertain more of them, and I don't think Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky would miss him, man. They're like, just fix basketball, we'll be all right.
I mean, maybe. Well, let me flip that question on its head. Say it's the opposite.
Say we've whiffed on Florida.
Say Florida's in a 2-4 situation, and Kentucky just puts a 50 burger on them, 50-14. Are you okay with Kentucky ending the Napier era in Florida?
No, I'd rather do it. I would much rather do it in Neyland Stadium, but I guess so, because I just don't see this working out. We've outlined how we think this should go. We're higher than probably I expected myself to be, just thinking about the schedule. But if he survives this season, man, he's a wizard, and they're just not willing to pay the buyout yet. All those things come into play. So I guess so. Like I said, I would much rather do it in Neyland Stadium. Nico firmly launches the Heisman campaign. That's how I'd rather do it. But if Kentucky does it, whatever. Yeah, it's gonna end at some point, probably way sooner than anybody expected for Napier in Florida.
Fair enough.
Come at the beginning of his career, I'll say that.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we got them both. We got them both being Kentucky. Lucky them. They're gonna get a bye week. Non-lucky them. They're gonna return and go to Jacksonville, Florida, and play Georgia. This was one of those where I went loss.
Hey, did you do that a lot more in the back half of their schedule than you did in the front?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see your back half. All right, so let's just skip right over the Georgia thing. It gets better. They go to Texas. I went loss.
Talk about the defensive losses that they suffered through the portal. Good luck stopping Ewers and the Longhorns.
Yeah, and imagine Quinn Ewers' season-ending injury at this point. Doesn't matter. Ark Manning's in behind. I don't know. I mean, Texas might be at this point able to play this game without a quarterback and just say, hey, watch this. I mean, I about said Spurrier. Sarkisian, he can dial it up.
Supremely talented roster, dude. They can dial it, and he can absolutely dial it up. They've done well bringing in players galore. I mean, there's no scenario for me where Florida wins this game in Austin.
And DKR is going to be crazy because, I mean, you're talking about a premier blue blood like Florida coming to DKR. I hook them. I got this as a loss for Florida.
Absolutely.
All right. This one was a little more tough for me. However, I think that LSU offense is still going to be potent. It's in the swamp. Can LSU stop any kind of bleeding at all? They were atrocious. I don't know that it matters. I'm taking LSU.
Yeah, I don't think that it matters. This one is as close. Okay, no, this one and the next one are the closest to a toss-up as I got to on the back half of the schedule. We'll get to the next one in a minute. I know that LSU just lost the Heisman winner in Daniels. I know that they just lost receivers. They've still got more weapons to me than Florida does. And it's not like the swamp is going to rock throughout November if they're really teetering, okay? Like if they're way above, what we've got, even if they're really good, place to be wild. This series is great. This is another one we never need to lose. Never needs to go away or not be played. But if they are not good, this place is going to be – there's going to be a lot of purple and gold. There's going to be questionable motivation all across the field. And I just can't find the ways or the reasons that Florida beats LSU unless the LSU defense takes steps backward somehow, which is impossible. I really like the guy they brought in from Missouri who did a really nice job there, and I love that he left Missouri as well. I'll say that. But I just don't have reasons for Florida to beat LSU. They're just – they don't materialize for me. They don't come up. I don't see Mertz putting up a gunfight if it turns into an absolute boat race of a game. Sorry, I'm going LSU.
Yeah, I'm going to take LSU as well. I'm in agreement with all those things that you said. It gets worse.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, of all teams for you to have drawn Ole Miss with just all this momentum and this offense, Jackson Dart. I expect only more out of Jackson Dart. This is a loss. And
It's
I
a
feel
loss,
like
dude.
this could have been played in Oxford, Gainesville, the Moon, Kansas. It's a loss.
This is a loss.
How can Florida keep up at this point?
Dude, I just don't know. A lot of positive talk about Ole Miss for this season, right? A lot of
Yeah.
all the transfer buzz, all of that. Well, guess what? If they have one loss next season, they probably just picked it up 2 weeks prior to this game with Georgia. Then they get a bye week to rest back up, to gear back up. This is if Ole Miss reaches expectations and the positive vibes that people are talking about for them. That's what I'm talking about here. Obviously, things could go offline because it is Lane Kiffin. But the weapons, dude, I just talked about it with LSU. The weapons that Ole Miss have added now even address defensive issues. They brought in Walter Nolan to do things on the defensive line. Juice Wells, you name it, dude. Who didn't they bring in? They have guys from last year that were supposed to do a lot more than they did. Who did they lose outside of Quinshon Judkins? I mean, honestly,
Tyler Barron.
I don't even know how they had room. Yeah, Tyler Barron. Oh, that was a good one. Bada boom. I mean, though, for real, like, how did they have enough roster spots to bring in this many guys with seemingly only losing seniors and Quinshon Judkins? I don't know. They're beating Florida in the swamp. It looks like it doesn't matter. Play it wherever you want to. This is another loss for Florida.
I'm gonna do it again before we get to this last game. By this point, you have played a Cam Ward offense, a Mike Elko offense, a Jeff Lebby offense, a Gus Malzahn offense, a Josh Heupel offense. Say what you want to. A Mark Stoops offense, the best offense in the country in Georgia, a Steve Sarkisian offense, a Brian Kelly offense, and a Lane Kiffin offense. And now you got to close it out with a Mike Norvell offense and DJ Uiagalelei.
Who? Let me go right here. If DJU is the starter at this point of the season, that means they figured him out, and then that's what you're playing.
Oh yeah, because Mike Norvell will not do the whole Dabo Swinney thing and just ride him
for sure.
Yeah,
I trust Norvell at this point. He's earned my trust throughout the course of the season, the postseason, all of it. He's either got DJ playing the right ball, or he's got the guy behind him playing the right ball. That's your option.
And it's in Tallahassee.
And this is a vintage revenge tour season for Florida State.
Imagine if Florida State is playing for a playoff spot. Say they're 10-1, at this point, and Florida at this point is 5-6.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida's playing for bowl eligibility or something like that. They're both playing for something.
Yeah.
This could get ugly.
This really could get ugly. I mean, and we've talked about Florida State already on the pod. We gave them an episode. Really, we like what they're doing, yada, yada, yada. They played Notre Dame 3 weeks before this. They got a bye week. They got Charleston Southern. All eyes are on the playoff. All eyes are on demolishing Florida. Like, that's their goal. It's not to win the game. It's to embarrass them.
Mm-hmm.
Hatred, it's going to come out. It's going to be at home. I mean, again, I'll say it. If things haven't gone exceedingly well for Florida, there won't be 15 Florida families of players is all you'll have, and coaches is all you'll have in the stands. Like, Florida State will have the place rocking. You just know that this is going to be probably a night game unless Florida's that bad. And again, man, this is just like we're really LSU and Ole Miss because Texas and Georgia were just surefire L's for me. What logical reason do I have to pick Florida in this game? Not one.
None. The back half is way more solidified to me than the front half. But yeah. I need to ask you a question here, and this one's going to test our friendship. Did you watch the Bama episode where I went solo?
I've not made it yet. Look, dude, don't hold that against my friendship. Don't hold that against my friendship. You know how busy I was at work that day, and full disclosure, when I'm off work, a lot this week, my ears are not hearing podcasts. That is work material for me. That's usually what that is. Off weeks, I'm running around getting fun things done, stuff like that. I'll get to it because I love you and I love us.
I got you, baby. Okay. So going into that schedule prediction, I made cited a quote, and I'm pretty sure it's C.S. Lewis who said, "I know I'm wrong in my theology. I just don't know where."
Yeah.
As I looked at the Bama schedule, I'm like, I'm wrong somewhere. I am. I don't know where. The front half of that schedule for Florida, I feel like I could be wrong in a lot of places. I feel like some of
Yeah,
these are just interchangeable. Miami and Tamu to me could almost be trade offs. Miami or UCF could be a trade off. I mean, who knows? The back end is
yeah.
a little more, you know. So with that said, like, you know what? If we're wrong, all right, cool. And I imagine that we're wrong, just maybe in the wrong spot. So
Probably.
we both got them at 5-7.
Mm-hmm.
Say everything goes right. Everything goes right. There's no significant injuries. Mertz is playing really good ball. Johnson's body is holding up. Eugene Wilson is doing his part. The defense is serviceable considering of all the offenses that they've played.
Yeah.
What is the ceiling for Florida for you?
That was why I was making the face I was making when the video popped up for this meeting between us. That was the reason for that face. Because tell me, and I need you to explain it to me like I'm 5. How is it higher than 7?
Well, all right. So to answer your question, I'm gonna tell you what I wrote.
Okay, because 7-5 is me. 7-5 is me.
With a shaking hand, I wrote 8-4.
Okay.
I started to lean 7-5, but if everything goes right, you got some toss-up games that are at home. So I said 8-4 as a ceiling, but again, did it with a shaky hand. Because here's why. I think you're going to lose Miami, but I think you can win it. I think you can win A&M. I think it's going to be tough. I think you're going to win Mississippi State. I think you can win UCF. It's going to be tough. Tennessee.
How many times haven't you beaten Tennessee when you shouldn't have?
Exactly. You're not beating Georgia, not beating Texas. LSU, it's at home. I got you as a loss, but I think you can.
Yeah, in the scenario you're describing, absolutely. I mean,
Yes. Ole Miss is a little more solidified for me.
yeah, but how many times has Lane done things that he shouldn't have?
Exactly. And then I come to Florida State where I go, I got you as a loss, but I think you can.
Yeah.
I
Probably the third most likely loss for me is Florida State.
Yeah. I mean, I think 8-4 is, I mean, everything went right. Everything went right. Who knows with these things, right? Who knows? I mean,
You're right.
we're talking about predictions in the beginning of July. But I totally understand why you would say, why would you write more than 7? Truth be told,
Yeah.
my only answer is, well, I got him at 5 wins, but I think you can do it here, here, and here. I think you can.
Hey, that's good. That answers my question. That answers my question.
There you go. So your ceiling for them is what, 7-5?
7. I am standing by 7-5.
That's fine.
And yeah,
The floor was tougher for me.
that's tough. Yeah, as the schedule for whatever reason explodes away from me.
So I can see the bottom falling out way easier than I can see the ceiling being raised.
Yes.
I can see everything going wrong easier than I can see everything going right.
Yes.
Just because
of how much the ball really starts rolling downhill there halfway.
Yeah,
point.
dude. I mean, and we talked about this being do or die for him, and the schedule is just brutal. I got you losing Miami. I think you can lose, and I think you will lose. I got you beating A&M. I think you can lose that. I got you beating Mississippi State. I think you can lose that. I got you beating UCF. I think you can lose that. I got you beating Kentucky. I think you can lose that. You're going to lose to Georgia. You're going to lose to Texas. I got you losing to LSU. Pretty dang confident you're going to lose to Ole Miss. Pretty confident you're going to lose to Florida State. I was this close, like right there to writing 2-10. I was right there. But I was like, it's still Florida. 3-9.
Yeah. It's just so funny. Still them. 3. One more game. I love it. That's all. Yeah, I mean, 3 games are okay because that includes UCF. I was going to say head and shoulders easier than everything else. 3 games are unlike the others. UCF in terms of what Gus do you get, how's KJ, all the things I talked about. Mississippi State because of everything we've talked about. First-year coach, weird situation with coaches that have been through there in the last 10 years, and Stanford because, reasons we ain't going to get into. I think those are your guaranteed wins. Yes, that could be your floor. Yes, you could lose to one of those teams, and all the reasons that we've already talked about. I think 2 is very possible because I just worry. For one, I'm someone who worries about things unraveling anyway. Like if you lose to them, you're certainly losing to these. That's how I work. That's how my brain's wired. I mean, there's a chance that if they lose to Tennessee, they lose their last 7 games. If they don't beat Tennessee, they could very well lose their last 7 games. And that's on top of whatever you've already done. Just literally to be different, and because I think it's very, very doable if things did go that bad, I'm going to say 2-10. It seems impossible, unimaginable. I can't even speak as how crazy that seems, but it is on the table. It is on the table.
So if we're talking about 2-10, the question is now, at what week is Napier fired?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know you've got that young defensive coordinator, Austin something. He did a dandy of a job against Tennessee last year, and we saw him a lot. I don't think he's your guy. He's your interim. OC, couldn't tell you right now. I think they've been through 1 or 2 already with Napier. I don't know, man. I mean, what direction do you even go? Like, if you were to go the interim route, like,
I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking more so, at what point is he let go? And they're just like, we'll figure it out from here. I mean,
yeah, that's what you do, I guess, if it comes to it.
And I think if that's the case, it comes after the Kentucky loss.
Yeah, and that's just depending on how bad it was before then.
But then you just turn around and play Georgia. God bless. All right, one question before we shut this thing down.
All right.
Take this exact same schedule, but it's Georgia's schedule.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Georgia's playing Miami. Georgia's playing Sanford. Georgia's playing A&M. I got this 11-1, worst case 10-2.
Yeah, my initial thought was going to be my initial thought for a floor came first for whatever reason. I was going to say 9-3, just because they don't face a lot of seasons where it's back-to-back weeks or multiple weeks in a row where you're being pushed, man. The offenses that you talked about, the talent on some of these rosters that you talked about, obviously they can't play themselves. My initial floor thought was 9-3. Very well could be 10-2. Heck, man, I respect them so much. I think they could run through this thing 12-0. 11-1's a lot more likely. A lot more likely when you talk about Texas that they're already playing. Ole Miss, I think they play as well. I mean, this is actually really interesting. If they played Tennessee at home instead of in Athens with Nico and everything, the roster turnover there that we think is going a good direction. All those things. Yeah, I would say 9-3, 12-0. With and I'd lean a lot more towards 12-0.
Is that an indicator on the state of Florida? Not the geographical state, but the condition state of Florida.
Somewhat it is. I mean, we are. Let's acknowledge that we're asking what if the current dynasty or the budding dynasty is facing the schedule and not Florida, who's really struggling. But yeah, it absolutely is to an extent. I think part of that is because I thought you were going to ask me what if Tennessee was facing the schedule, where would I land? Even in that case, if I've got LSU coming to Neyland Stadium without Jaden Daniels, there was receivers. Oh, by the way, you whipped them 2 years ago at their place. Texas, that could turn into a gunfight. You could get beat pretty badly. I thought that's the direction you were going to go. Even still, I could see Tennessee going 8-4, not 5-7 or 4-8.
I think 7-5, 8-4.
Yeah, probably. Because the roster depth is still not where we want it to be.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean that's definitely somewhat of a pretty big indicator for where they're at right
now. How much of an impact will Asa Turner be for the Florida Gators? He's gonna have to do a lot.
Oh yeah, dude.
The former Washington Husky. All right. We have ran this one into the ground. Appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us. Can't wait to watch Florida Miami. The impact that Florida Miami will that will not only have on Florida, but that will have on the national impact that Florida Miami is going to have. I mean, if Miami loses that one, I mean, are they out of the playoffs? Can Florida winning that game is really, really important. If they lose it, how can they redeem themselves? But you know what? Will our eyes ever, for a season, ever be glued to Florida the way that it will be this year? I mean, we typically pay attention to them up to the Tennessee game, and then because it's been a loss for us, we're like, freaking screw you guys. We're done with
Yeah.
you. But man, and I can't wait for the back half. Cannot wait for the back half of that schedule. They've got some real situations where they could have 50 burgers just hung on them time and time again. Time and time
Yeah.
again. So anyway, nonetheless, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Again, we're pushing for 100 subscribers on YouTube. You can help us do that. Go ahead and press that button, push that button, hit like while you're at it. Leave us a comment. Tell us where we're wrong. We've got thick skin. We're pretty boys. We can handle it. I don't know what pretty boys has to do with anything.
We're both. We're diverse.
We are both. We are diverse. Nonetheless, thank you again for hanging out with us. We love you guys. God bless. Go Vols.
GBO.
Pandemonium reigns.